Thank you so much for having us. I am Trisha Benner, and this is Marissa Sussman. We're the College and Career Advisors in the Future Planning Center, and we're really excited to be here. It's not very popular to say that this was a great year, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think this was a great year. Our seniors worked really, really hard, probably harder than any other class to get where they're going for next fall, and I'm excited to be able to report on that to you guys tonight. Go ahead and just jump into what we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk about what happened this year in the FPC. We're going to talk about what the result was with our class of 2021. And then we're going to talk about what was new this year and what we're looking forward to next year. So as you can see from our calendar, not much changed, which is hard to believe in a year like this. We kept pretty much all of our programs the same, and we even added new programs and improved on some of the programs that we've offered in the past. We saw a huge jump in attendance for all of our events because they were virtual. So everyone joined from work, from home, from wherever they were. So that was fantastic. All of our events were recorded and provided to families afterwards, which had never happened before. So families were really excited about that because everybody has busy schedules. We also were able to offer 2 of our field trips that we offered last year, but in a virtual format in their classrooms. That's the Pfizer Digital Girls event, which was offered to 9th grade girls, and also the Entrepreneurship Conference this year. Our students loved those. Our SAT boot camp in May was attended more than any other boot camp. And that's because, again, it was virtual, but because it was virtual, the price dropped from $150 per person to $36 per person, which was awesome. Same boot camp, just not as much money because they didn't have to drive out to us and give us physical books. So that was kind of cool. Our career month we're going to talk about in a little bit. That was definitely a big event for us that we expanded on this year. Our military info Zoom that we had was really well attended. We were able to get all of our military reps to Zoom in for one conference and talk about just in general what military options are at each of the different branches, and families could just get a really good understanding of what all those options look like without being just sold on one branch individually, because sometimes that can be tough. And I'm going to talk about Decision Day next as well. Decision Day, wow, if you were there, you probably couldn't believe your eyes like me. We had over 1,000 people attend. Our theme was Rams are virtually everywhere. A little corny, I know, but our students loved it. You can see we had the big blow up arch. We had cookies donated. Well, I shouldn't say donated, discounted, heavily discounted from Corpley's. We did pay for them a little bit, but they were really fun. They were little caps and gowns. Our students came out in their career gear. We had a standing applause for our military bound students. We had a lot of really great group pictures with all of our different college bound students. It was an amazing day. Could have been a little less humid, but other than that, I can't complain at all. So if you weren't there last year, you should definitely try and come out to next year's program. We still offered a lot of testing, only had to cancel one test date in December, and that was because we were short-staffed with proctors. But other than that, we were able to actually offer more testing this year than any year in the past because we were allowed to, due to the pandemic and limited testing in the spring, we increased our fall test dates. You can see some extra test dates on there. Our numbers stayed exactly the same. We did not limit any students from being able to come to our test center. We even were open to students from across the state. So we had some students even driving in from Jersey to come test with us because we were one of the only test centers still open through this whole thing. And I'm really proud of how great our staff was through all of that. And our students were great too, very respectful of everyone in the test center. Our AP exams, you can see we still have a ton of students taking AP exams. We're excited about that. I didn't report on dual enrollment numbers here. We have over 300 students participating in dual enrollment also, if that's of interest. So a lot of students taking advantage of those college credits while still in high school. Okay, and this is where all of our staff's hard work comes in. So I like to give a shout out to all those teachers who wrote an amazing number of letters of recommendation. Yes, that is 154, topping the charts. Our students applied to a record number of schools because they were all test optional. So why not? Let's throw a couple extra applications into those Ivy Leagues and see what happens. We encouraged it if they wanted to. I think our students are great. We have an excellent academic program here. And you'll be able to see on the next slide that did pay off for some of them. So 356 different colleges that our students applied to. We sent 3,434 transcripts. That's a huge number as compared to the past. Unofficial transcripts are being given to students now because of self-reporting. So this means that students are actually having to input all of their own grades into the applications now. So that's what that number's from. And then, yeah, 3,000 letters of recommendation written for our students. So that's amazing. Thank you to all of the staff that are listening. We really appreciate all the support, and our students appreciate it too. So a little bit on the class of 2021. 74% of our class is still headed to a four-year college. And we do actually have, for the first time, a little leapfrog here where we have 13% of students going into either trade apprenticeship programs or going straight into the workforce. And I think that is by design. We have been talking to students more and more about those apprenticeship programs, and we've made some great connections for students and helped them make those connections. So I think that that's a good thing to be seeing. We also still have, of course, 12%, a high number of students going into those two-year colleges and trade schools, 1% in the military, that's about the same. And then for the first time ever, or not ever, I guess, since I've been here, we have 2 students doing a true gap year, traveling the world, doing an internship before they go to college, some exciting stuff for those students. Just a general breakdown on majors. STEM is still topping the charts, but again, that's a pretty large field. We have a lot of students interested in health sciences, especially with everything that's going on in the world right now. As you can imagine, that's very popular. So let me just take a look at that for a second, and we'll move on. Okay, the text here is tiny, but going the distance has really exploded. I think people are looking to get out of Royersford, which is okay in the college respect. So we have students literally going all over the country. We're really excited about that. Again, we just had students taking more risks with their applications this year because of that test optional factor, and probably because they were at home and maybe had a little bit more time in the fall to do some of this stuff. Highly selective acceptances, you can see some really cool new schools on there that we're excited about. So again, we're really proud of the class of 2021. I think they did a great job. And you'll even see an out-of-state school snuck onto our top 5 list, which again, since I've been here has not happened. So that's kind of neat to see too, and even a private school. Okay, here's the big number that everybody's always interested in, $4 million in scholarships. Again, I think this is due to students expanding their options, applying to more schools. They were having more generous offers, possibly because there was lower enrollment last year. So they're trying to secure their classes this year, but that's a great number to be proud of. We also have a lot of athletic scholarship money listed up there. And those community scholarships were awarded at our senior commencement awards night. Okay, so what was new this year? I'm really excited to talk about this one. Career Month. Before Career Month meant that we would have speakers from our local community come in and talk about their careers, and they would physically come into the building. Because that was not possible this year, we expanded it to let anybody Zoom in from anywhere that they currently were living. So we had some really cool career speakers, and they were excited to talk to our students. Sometimes I feel like I'm twisting people's arms, but this really was a lot of people who were just excited to connect with students and share about their jobs. So from having a nutritionist who worked with the Winter Olympics, to having someone from the Eagles postgame show, to someone who works at Google and Business France, and all of those were represented during Career Month, and many more. We had 37 different speakers. So that was a really cool event. All of those speakers were recorded and are still available on the FPC website. If you're interested, you can go check some of them out. We did it in an interview format this year. So they gave us some really cool information about their jobs and that career journey and what that looks like. So that's what we're really trying to help our students picture, that you don't just wake up one day and know exactly what it is that you want to do. There's a process involved. And thankfully, these people were kind enough to share their own process with our students and help them picture what that might look like for them and why they may or may not want the careers that they have currently. So very cool program. I think we're going to try and do some kind of hybrid model for next year so that we can keep accessing these people who may not be able to come to our school building. And then to piggyback on that, I'm excited to just touch on this a little bit. I hope I don't get too many questions on it because nothing is 100% set in stone yet, but we are working on a career mentoring and job shadowing program that we are hoping to pilot next year. We're having a meeting with we're calling it the Spring Forward Partners meeting this summer. So the website should be up over the summer where partners or future partners can actually sign up to potentially become a career mentor or take on a job shadower. There's some pretty specific requirements that we need to meet for the state for this, but all of that will be clearly outlined to the stakeholders and also the students. But we're excited to get some students out in the workforce and really see what it's like out there and see what that job looks like in real life and not just on paper. And I think that that's a huge part of career exploration. And this is not going to be limited to one grade level. If you have the ability to get to that location, you are going to be able to do some sort of job shadowing or career mentoring. So all those details are forthcoming, but for right now, just keep an eye out for it. We're excited it's coming. And that is all I have. Does anybody have any questions for us?
Anybody, any questions or comments? Well, I just want to say a very sincere thank you for everything you did for every one of our students. And you really you are a huge part of turning this year into something positive and helping them get to all of these different destinations. So I'm very grateful. I do have a question, like how much of that, I know you said about maybe doing a hybrid thing with the whole career piece next year, but I think that there have been, you have to look for the good, right? So the silver lining, I think there have been a lot of opportunities, maybe in your department more so than in others, that hopefully you'll be able to take a lot of that. I know that the coffee, were they coffee talks? What were?
Oh yeah, we're going to continue those.
Right.
Yeah,
So
coffee and conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of different things that you did that was outreach that I hope that you'll be able to take a huge part of that and continue it on. And we'll call it the silver lining, right?
Definitely.
Because it really, I heard from I know a lot of senior parents, heard from a lot of them that they were so happy with the outreach. You kept us connected. You kept all of those parents connected to what was going on. So I'm very grateful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I just want to add, very nice. I just wanted to add that I was very impressed presentation but just with your ability to creatively use the virtual platform to really expand the options, and especially the recordings were, I think, very helpful to parents and families. And I hope we can always continue with that. That was wonderful. But I also just like the fact that you have, since I've been involved with this school district, which is longer than I like to admit, you have increased the options for students, and every year you come up with new ideas and new things that provide more and more options, and it's just very exciting. So I'm looking forward to the mentorships and the job mentoring. That's a great idea.
Thank you.
This list of accepted and matriculated students, this is amazing. I mean, the number of schools I've never heard of before, schools that are like off the charts, amazing school. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, the way you connect our students to places that will benefit them, right? That will help them through their journey as they make their decisions and take their next steps is just really incredible. And being able to kind of find some of these niches and these colleges that may be smaller or in other areas or other regions that, you know, most people have never heard of before from this region. It's just so amazing. And I thank you. It's really cool. It's really cool. Keep it up.
Thank
That's
you.
so awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
Always my favorite presentation of the year. Thank
Good.
you so much.
So glad. All right. Well, that's it. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.